Welcome back, Douglas patrons. This video is about setting up your document and getting it ready to enter your information. Once you're in Microsoft Word, you're going to want to get it ready so that your information, whatever you choose to enter, is ready to go in and look the way you want it, depending on what styles you're going for in your resume. So, we're going to talk about headings first. Your headings, of course, at the top is your name, your address, and your contact information. And you have headings throughout the resume like education, work experience, skills, references, and so on. So you're going to want to be able to get those to look the way you want. One of the things you might want to do is to set up a resume that has the headings on the side, separate from the content. This gives you a little bit more space that's not words, which makes the resume a little easier on the eyes. This isn't standard, but I'm going to show you how to do this. What's more standard is, and this isn't set up as a table, it's using tabs, but just sort of offsetting with indent the sections, or doing headings as centered headings like this. But I'm going to show you how to do a table real quick. If you want to insert a table, you go to the Insert menu, click on Table, the Command button, and a drop-down menu will appear that will allow you to choose the size of your and shape of your table. So use your mouse to choose two columns of about 6 rows by hovering over the box 6 down from the top left and over 2. Once you click that box there, that will insert the table. You can manipulate the location of each border by hovering over the line until the cursor changes to indicate you can move the line. Clicking and holding the line without releasing the click and dragging it around the screen to where you want it will place it where it needs to be. You can add extra rows if needed by putting your cursor in the far right bottom row and clicking the Tab key on your keyboard. To delete an entire row, right-click in a cell in that row and click on Delete. In the menu that appears. A pop-up dialog box will ask you what you would want to delete. Be sure you choose Delete Entire Row. You can always undo any deletions that you do, or redo any action that you take that you decide to redo. Enter your information. You can move things around by double-clicking and dragging them, or double-clicking, right-clicking, and choosing Cut and Paste. Once you've entered your information, you can format the table so that the lines are invisible by highlighting the entire table, and you can either use the arrow to do this, or you can put your cursor at the beginning of the first word and drag it all the way to the end of the table. And clicking on the Design tab, then you click the Borders command button. Over on the side, if you click on it, it'll bring a drop-down menu down. And then you want to click No Border. Now you have nicely lined up and aligned content in your resume without the lines. You can always bring the lines back by highlighting the table again and choosing all borders, or just outside border. You can also just put a border in between these two sections here by highlighting one of the sides and choosing the border that goes between them. So, which headings should you use and how? You definitely need the education heading. You might want a certification or endorsement section. Let's say I've already set this up and I want to add a row beneath this so that I can add that section. I can right-click on a row, on a cell in a row, and then choose Insert Rows Above or Below. I'm going to do Below. And I'm going to put Certification and Endorsements. These could also be included with education. You want your related experience. You could call it work history if you will only be listing paid employment positions, career highlights, related experience, relevant experience, professional experience, or just experience if you will be blending work history and other experience. If I insert a row below this, I can also include additional experience. This could be additional experience. You could call it volunteer experience or service if you will be listing this separate from your work experience. Finally, you want to include references at the end or on a separate page. If your resume is short, these could help make the resume look fuller on the first page. If they run on to a second page, however, go ahead and keep them all together on that page. So if I have a full resume and the references don't fit fully on this page, I can always insert a page break here. And the references will lead off the next page. Now, let's say I don't use tables Instead, I want to divide stuff up by lines. I can delete this whole table and this page break by just highlighting everything and clicking to delete. Now, I have an objective statement, professional experience, related experience, education, and references. I want to center these rather than have them off to the side. And I want a line in between each one. The way to insert a line, like this one here, is to go to the Insert tab, go to the Illustrations gallery, and find the Shapes menu. Now, down in Lines, which is a subheading under Shapes, you'll find the straight, uncurved, unbent line with no arrows. Here we have lines with arrows, we have bent lines, we have curved lines. We want the straight line with no frills. When we click it, a tool comes up that allows us to draw the line. Carefully draw it from left to right as flat as you can. You can see the line get thicker when it's bent. It stays very thin when it's not bent. And here we have a line. We can move it around by hovering over the line until the cursor changes to indicate it is ready to be selected. Then we click and drag, and we can put it wherever we want it. We can use the dots at the end to center, resize, or reshape the line by clicking and dragging on the dots. You can also right-click on a line to copy it, and then paste it wherever you'd like.